Yeah, man. I don't know if we got enough time to get into Claressa Shields, man. My girl. She won after she criticized Chris Cyborg. They got into a little back and forth. And I love Claressa Shields. I'm tired of my girl talking. I'm a fan of hers. If you
Mhm.
look at and you follow the show, you know I'm her biggest supporter. I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
see her in there and in there with anyone. Chris Cyborg, fucking Alicia Bumgarner, get in there with someone. That I'm tired of hearing about it, man.
Yeah, no, no, I see what you're saying, but my perspective is completely different.
Oh,
I After watching that fight, pretty entertaining event. After watching it, I need to see her in the UFC more often because those booty shorts, god damn, I didn't give a fuck who won. I was just like, just keep the camera behind her. That's it. I don't care about anything. Just keep it behind her. I don't care if she wins. I don't care if she wins, knocks her out, loses. I don't care. I don't care. The cameraman need to do his goddamn job and stay behind her constantly. That's it. That's the only thing I was paying attention to. I was like, oh man, she throwing heavy punches, but that ass though?
what's going on, everyone? I'm Bob Born Dame. I'm here with my brother, Mr. Get That Work. We back with another one.
Yeah, man.
Get into
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah. A lot of things happened throughout the week, and some things happened that I I feel like we need to discuss because we kind of more of a channel that just focus on the review of the fights and talking about stuff like that happened. You know what I'm saying, near the end of the week. But let's review some of the things that happened. So I want to ask you this:
Let's get into it.
we got Haney versus Garcia. Everybody's pretty excited for it. It's happening April 20th, but there seems to be a little debacle about like where the location is going to be. As of right now, Barkley still has it on his website, but Garcia says he doesn't want to fight in New York, not because he doesn't like New York, because of his career. I'm not really sure what that means. He feels like it's not the best move for his career. I'm not really sure if the location matters when you have the fight, but that's what he's claiming.
No, it 100% does matter because
Oh shit.
yeah, man. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Playboy. He is more of a West Coast fighter, Mexican heritage.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
Mexican American, but he's not. Fans are still fans. A lot of Latin
Okay.
fans support him. More on the West Coast. That doesn't mean he doesn't have fans or supporters here. It means
Right.
to maximize the value, you would want to put him there. That's mainly why Cotto fought almost every Puerto Rican weekend in Madison Square Garden. New
Right.
York has a huge Puerto Rican community.
Right.
That doesn't mean that people on the West Coast don't love Cotto. That doesn't mean that there's not Puerto Ricans over there. But if you want to maximize the most, this is considered another super fight form. You want to make it the best you can be, not
Mm.
really good. You want to make it the best, the best.
Okay.
And that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, wait, is Haney, and I'm a Haney fan, but I really don't care or don't even look into it anymore. I was like, where's Haney from? I was like,
He's from
yo,
the
is he a
Bay Area. He over there on
what?
that side too. He's from the Bay Area, but he still chose New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure why, but you know, I didn't know. I didn't think it made that much of a difference. But hearing how you put it, I can see how, what I'm saying. I guess for certain fighters, depending on where you're at, it does make a difference for them. What would you suggest? Because honestly, for me, my preference right here, if we want to go there, we can go watch it. So for me, it's good. For us, it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
But as for the fighter, what would you suggest?
I ended up texting you, yo, when I first heard about it. It happened real recent. I was like,
Yeah,
man, I'm debating if I want to pull up. You know what I mean?
right.
I love Haney, so my first reaction was like, damn, I want to go, but that has to be a fight in Vegas, man, to maximize it, to be its best thing, or even LA.
Yeah.
I think he had fights in the Staples Center. It's just the magnitude of the event. That me being selfish, I'm okay with it being in New York, but him being the Mexican fighter, both of them more West Coast fighters. It's either got to be in Vegas. Vegas is what, like a 4 hour drive away from LA. I don't know. It's not very far, but nah, man, you got to make it LA to make it a big spectacle, man. And I wonder why that wasn't the initial and only option, either LA or Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. We'll see what happens. Like I said, as of right now, Barkley still has it on their website. So I guess, we'll once we get a little closer to the fight, we'll know what happens.
So did you hear? I forgot who I saw it on, but on Twitter, the whole point that they did put it in New York was because they're trying to save ticket sales for Canelo.
Yes, I heard of this, which
Yeah, I don't even understand that. I don't know.
and I want to jump into Canelo, so that's a perfect segue. That is a perfect segue. So
Let's get into it.
seemingly, and I'm gonna say seemingly, but it is on, websites that you can check. Canelo wants a 35 million guaranteed for Charlo. The other Charlo, which he said is not a better fighter than the last Charlo he fought. So he seemingly wants a 35 million guaranteed from PBC for that fight. Nothing yet has been official, but there's also been news as of very, very recent that he got offered
Mm-hmm.
55 to 60
Mm-hmm.
million for
God
Benavides.
damn.
55 to 60 million from Benavides. Now, I don't know if that's a two-fight deal or just only Benavides, but apparently he rejected that offer.
Yeah, and I want to say I saw that, and normally we don't source or do anything because this isn't a news network. We don't give a fuck. We don't have any connections to these dudes. But that I saw that from David Benavidez Sr. saying that straight from the
Yeah,
horse's mouth. 55 bill. What's going on?
yeah. Look, we don't like to say anybody's scared of another man, but that has to line up with being scared to fight somebody because if you are a Canelo fan, how are you defending this?
How?
How are you defending a guy who fought somebody two weight classes lower? After the fight, he says nobody could beat this Canelo. Nobody could beat this version of Canelo. Then you have a guy in your weight class, which is going to be not only a legacy fight, but a money fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you reject it. How do you defend that?
As a fan, how do you defend that? How do you personally go as a fan? This is what I want to see. How? Why would you even want to see a guy who hasn't been in the ring in 2 years? I really don't understand it. Not only that, I'm not sure if it's just my internet fucking with me, man. He said that he could beat like Carlos Monzon and all these other all-time great fighters. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, my guy. I don't know if it came out his mouth. I think it's Google fucking with me. I'm just gonna put it on that. Google wants to fucking make me lose my shit.
Oh
If you're
man.
gonna say all these things about Mayweather, if you're gonna say you can beat all these all-time greats, you have to perform at an all-time great level.
Right.
And my man, he has been there for mad long. Give him a title shot, please. Like no one else wants to see any of this other bullshit. My God, honestly, I'm completely done with Canelo. Completely done with Canelo. Completely.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
Okay.
He's
I
a
mean,
fraud.
honestly, that's fair.
No, he's a
That's
fraud.
fair.
He's a
Oh,
fraud. He's
what?
the biggest fraud since Money Mayweather. The biggest fraud. And I asked you last week, can you be an all-time great and still be considered a cherry picker? And we say yes.
Yeah.
The problem that I have with Canelo, he specifically shitted on Mayweather. Oh, he would never fight a guy like me in his prime. Well, he wasn't in his prime, and all right, you weren't in yours, but he fought you. You are now ducking the Canelo of this time, the monster of this time. And your fans are right behind you kissing your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very disgraceful, annoying, um, stupid. You could put so many words there, but it if you're the face of boxing, I don't understand how you move like this. That's
100%.
just my opinion. I don't
100%.
understand. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I was going to
yeah.
transition real quick.
Okay, okay.
Since you talked about the face of boxing, another face of boxing, we got some news. Tank is fighting my man Frank Martin. Oh man, you making faces. I want to know. Wait. What's going on? What's the face for?
Woo. Frank gonna get his ass beat.
Get the fuck out
Frank
of
gonna get his
here.
ass beat.
Get the
That boy
fuck.
gonna get his ass beat. He's not ready for that fight.
So I'm gonna put it. All right. So we already drawing a line in the sand, man. You going with Tank?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like he has more experience. Granted that uh he hasn't had a title unification match, a real title, whatever. He just has more experience in bigger fights.
I
And
agree with that.
I don't think Frank is I don't think he's ready for that fight.
That's a
Maybe if he would have had another fight or two, I might feel a little more confident that maybe he could pull off the upset, but right now, I don't think so.
that's a fair statement, man. My I think people think that I'm a Tank hater, and I'm not, man. I watch his film, and I think he's a really good fighter and exceptional for his size, exceptional power. My problem is almost the Canelo thing. You only get but so long to be dominant and be the face. While
Right.
you have that time, you got to strike while the iron's hot. And I actually
Sure.
think this is a good fight for him. It's a lefty versus lefty. I'm going upset, man. I'm going Frank Martin upset, baby. I'm going upset. Yeah. And this is my early thing. I haven't done much film, but just a quick film thing. They're both lefties.
Yes.
Last time he fought Hector Garcia, the other Garcia, the smaller Garcia, and Garcia did pretty okay the first couple rounds. I like to think Frank Martin is better and stronger than that Garcia. So I understand what you said about experience.
Yeah.
I'm going upset, man.
All right. I mean, I'm a stick with old boy. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, he got the power, he got the experience. So I'm gonna stick with Tank. He's also been in the news because of his little back and forth with Eddie Hearn. And, he showed receipts that usually people don't show.
Mm,
And he showed I believe, an email sent to him from Eddie Hearn where Eddie Hearn offered him only 10 million guaranteed against Conor Ben. So when the news came out that Tank refused to fight Conor Ben for 25, he showed an email showing 10 million, but also in the email it said an upside to, I guess, making more, but it didn't really give a figure to how much more. Now, could he make 15 million more? I don't know. I wouldn't feel, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that as well if I was Tank. I gotta give him credit. Now, if it was a guaranteed of 20 mil and it said on the upside, then I would feel a little more confident. Yeah, maybe I might get 25 mil at the end of the day with everything, all the stuff after everything is done. But it said 10 mil. So Eddie Hearn he didn't touch on that. He had done an interview recently. He didn't really touch on that. But he was talking crazy to our boy Keyshawn Davis.
who, Eddie Hearn?
Eddie Hearn was talking crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
What is this regarding to or in reference to?
Well, he has a fighter, Andy Cruz, Cuban boxer, really good. Basically, if you don't know, he
Cruz fought
beat.
yesterday, actually.
Yeah, right. And he beat
Complete shutout.
Keyshawn in the amateurs twice.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. So Eddie Hearn was saying, "Hey, Andy Cruz would destroy Keyshawn. I'll bet everything on it. 7 days of the week, I'm picking Andy Cruz."
Wow.
Um, he was talking real greasy. And
Tough promoter talk right there,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, respect to to Cruz, because I looked up his amateur career. He had about like 140 wins or something like that.
I believe
But
he's Cuban.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the Cuban fighters always have deep amateur careers.
right. And like I said, he beat, Keyshawn twice, but that was 5 years ago in an amateur fight. Um, Now we're in the pros, and I'm not saying that he can't beat Keyshawn, but it's a different fight. In an amateur fight, you have 3 rounds to get work done. You know, so it's a little different in a professional setting with, 10 rounds or 12 rounds. A little different.
100% heavier, lighter gloves. You're
Right.
also coming in with the manhood.
Right.
It's a bit different. The only thing I would say is sometimes just stylistically, someone is a fucking nightmare for you. Like Sugar Shane and Vernon Forrest. They said Vernon Forrest beat him a bunch of times in the amateurs.
Sure.
They turn pro, and what happens? Same results, the same results. So sometimes, regardless of whatever, it's just styles make fights, and it didn't make
Right.
Shane any less of a fighter. But sometimes that dude has your fucking number, and I wouldn't be surprised if it would be the same way here because Cruz is a solid fundamental fighter.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch too heavy into it. It was actually a bit of a boring fight. You know,
Oh yeah, that night wasn't too great.
yes, good fighter though. Sometimes it's just that's the way the fight turns out. It's not as exciting.
All right. Well, I mean, do you want to get to the main course of this meal and talk about the return of Berlanga, baby?
Mm.
Oh yeah, New York boxing is back. I'm sorry, I tried my best. I tried.
Now
Yeah,
I know we want to be excited, and I don't want to shit on him. I don't want to shit on him at all. So I'm not gonna. He won me money. I won money betting the knockout, and he got it. So I'm happy. I don't know where you want to go with it. Again, I'm not gonna shit on him. I
I'm not gonna
think
shit on him, but I'm gonna go with his colleagues. I feel the same way his colleagues feel who are in the same division with him. Not impressed. Even though it was by knockout, you was in there with a guy that you should have knocked out. Um, but I wasn't impressed.
so. I want to touch on that for a minute. The guy didn't have a lot of knockouts, but before the fight started, real quick, I just wanted to jump on him. So I watched a couple of his fights.
Yeah,
More of a flat-footed fighter, so I figured that's gonna lean towards Berlanga. But also, though he didn't have a lot of knockouts, he had a lot of pop. So I could understand Berlanga coming out there initially. Hasn't been, let's get a feel of this guy.
sure, sure.
I just think that he's not that good of a boxer. And it's not to play him, he's just not good. His strength, he may have to totally adjust his whole style and start going peekaboo style and be more of an aggressive pressure fighting puncher.
Mm,
Become more of a brawler, a counter punching brawler, because he has a good jab, not a great jab.
yeah,
Very flat footed and doesn't have great head movement. So with him being a big puncher, you tend to, leave yourself open with your shots. And I could see him getting caught. He even got caught a couple times in this fight.
yeah.
Again,
That
I
he
don't
did.
I don't want to shit on him, man. But
Yeah, I'm again, guys. I'm not trying to shit on him. I'm not trying to be mean. He is a decent
he's
fighter,
average.
but yeah, that's really about it. And the audacity to call out Canelo
Yeah, yeah.
is wild to me. And seeing how Canelo moves, he might take that fight.
Yeah. 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 Yo,
What?
that
Against a guy who really hasn't proven anything, he might actually take that fight, which would be a little disappointing. And you already see Eddie Hearn really trying his best to sell
yes.
that fight.
Yes, yes. So again, a couple of things because he's a New Yorker. I kind of want him to get paid. I want him to get his money.
Sure, sure,
Puerto
sure.
Rican fighter, I want him to get it. The only
Yeah,
thing I don't want is for it to come at the cost of Canelo. No, Canelo's the cash cow, and I think there's only one fighter right now that deserves that fight. It's David Benavidez. That's it. I do not want to see him in there, and I don't even want to hear. I don't want to hear about a network trying to promote this fight. That is ridiculous, ridiculous. And I'm not
yeah,
trying to be disrespectful to Berlanga. Like I said, I like him. I hope he gets a payday, but not here, man. At 168, I'm not even sure if he fought any of the top 10 fighters at that weight. How are you going to throw him in any type of mix with anyone? I'll even go as far as this. I think John Ryder would have beat fucking Berlanga. And I'm not trying to knock him. I want him to get paid. But chill, there's no way, in no way, shape, or form that you were trying to get him in there with Canelo next. No way. Boycott boxing if this happens. And again, it's not a shot at Berlanga. There's
right.
no way. Why
I
not?
mean,
Why not have a matchup with him and Mangia at this point? Mangia.
man, you took it right out of my head. Pause if that's a pause, but man, same thing. Same. I'm thinking the same exact thing. That would be a great step up fight. And even though he wouldn't be projected as, the guy to win, if you did win, now people look at you different.
Yes. It is such a respectable win. It's
Right.
such a
Right.
would be an upset. It really would be an upset.
Absolutely.
I think the reason they don't put him in there with one of those other guys is because he will lose. He will lose. And as of right now, I'm not seeing the necessary adjustments for him to win. And again, he's not a bad fighter, but I think he's average with above average power, but not
Yes.
the execution. Again, I think he may need to really get a new. Again, I don't know those people, and I'm not trying to disrespect the Brooklyn crew that's working with him. They got to tweak his style and make him more of a pressure fighter. He's not,
I,
he's not that good of a boxer to be back there. He's gonna get caught. He's gonna get hurt.
you know, I see what you're saying. For me, it goes deeper than that.
Mm,
If you got a real team around you, a real team that cares about you and your career, I I think they would actually try to improve your style versus trying to get you in there in a big fight that you're absolutely not ready for. Because obviously it's just a money thing.
yeah.
Nobody thinks you're ready for Canelo. Nobody thinks you're even ready for Manguia. It would be a good fight, Puerto Rico against Mexican, with that aspect to it. But besides that, nobody thinks you're ready for a big name fight. And honestly, if your team really is about you and the progression of your career and your health, they would try to prepare you to take on bigger challenges, and not try to make you fight or try to get you in there just to get a great money fight. That's honestly how I feel.
I would agree, unless they you try to get the money fight first, and then we go back to the well and adjust. You know, let's try to cash in this lotto ticket before it runs out or expires, and then we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll work on it. That's probably my theory.
And,
I just
and I see that, right? But what happens if you don't have it no more after that?
well, he's so young. I can't see that happening. I just think that as of right now, I haven't seen any progression throughout his young career. And it reminds me a little bit of Ryan Garcia, where at first you saw their projection going on an incline, and then all of a sudden it kind of like fizzed out and got stale. And even though they're winning, and even if it's a knockout, it's not necessarily impressive or skill wise. The knockout was impressive though. I'm not gonna lie. Him drumming this guy around was exciting for the second half, the later half of this fight. The first
Right.
half was awful. It just looked like him stalking, occasionally throwing jabs. Where I'm not sure if they're trying to make him a better boxer and it's in his head to be a better boxer. So now he's not looking as impressive. Sometimes you are what you are, and they should just highlight that. You know what I mean? Let's make you the best version of this, and let's see how far that'll take us.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what I would hope. Rather than be a jack of all trades, let's just be a specialist, Deontay Wilder, and let's go from there.
Hey man, shout out to Gabe Rosado, man, because he to me is fits the bill. Because honestly, he wasn't a great fighter by any means. No disrespect to him, but he took on everybody. He just didn't go after the money. He just took on everybody, and I honestly I give that man respect because if you really look at his resume, he didn't have the skills,
But
but
for everyone,
he fought everybody.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's why you got to respect the journey, man. Some people,
Absolutely.
that's their gift. It's not about them winning a championship or a world title. The championship is the fact that they're there. They maximize their level of what it is to the fullest. And I think maybe that's what they're doing with Berlanga.